And immediately we get Rakan here for Delight.
I think the Rakan pick is, you know, they're waiting for support last because they're like, okay, what are you going to pick to control bottom side? Do we want a defensive option here? Do we want a more aggressive option? Rakan kind of does somewhat of both, but if they had not picked Nautilus and had picked something like a Trundle, then something like Nautilus becomes insanely strong for Delight because he can, of course, stop that push in its tracks with his root. I will be, you know, honest, as we often are with these T1 series, you take the nameplates away. Not a big fan of this T1 draft, actually. I think it's very high variance, and Corky...
Early game against T1 in that laning phase, they should be in a good spot. But let's hop onto the Rift for game 2.
We have really just seen the tip of the iceberg, Valdez, of Guma, I think, and Owner in particular this season. Faker's played a ton of champions. He's played a lot of utility. He's played the scaling. He's played Lissandra. On the other side of the Rift, Keria has played the most champions on this team at 16. He's played this season. I'm like checking to make sure he's played Nautilus because you never know. Yeah, no, he's played it. He has played it twice. Only twice because he's played 16 champions. But I think that for me, what I really wanted to see most of all was, can Guma play Aphelios? I didn't think we'd see that today. Didn't think that was going to happen. FREDIT BRION took away his other power picks. And then will we see Owner on something else like a Morgana? Didn't expect the Nocturne, but we are going to see a different side of him today. He's not just going to play those 3 power picks we've seen all season long that he is dominated so hard with. We'll see a different look, and I think even for T1 fans, they're somewhat apprehensive about the 0-1 start here because it is a record game. I don't know what happened before, but a lot of people saw each other like we were 90 seconds in. It's pretty unusual for 90 seconds into it for a game not to be a record game, which is how the rule states. So unfortunately, he's just going to have to live with the Demolish. Maybe if they end up winning lane super hard.
Well, he doesn't have the Demolish.
Oh, did he not?
Maybe
okay.
He wanted to take the Demolish.
Oh, okay. I thought he did have it. Sorry, my bad.
He has like the extra shield, the extra damage when you have a shield, which, I mean, he has Nautilus, so I mean, it's not that bad. And maybe he wanted to change something else. I don't know if it is Demolish. Just a suggestion. But either way, little cheeky gank here, cheeky visit to the top side. Doesn't really do much. Morgan took a tiny bit of damage. And now Umpty is following up here. And the less that top ganks get expected, the more value that they get.
I mean, Zeus already used his teleport, so this is a great opportunity.
Oh, man. Fantastically baited here by Morgan as he's in his shroud. Gets very close to the sun. As Zeus tries, and he will be able to trade it back just barely.
That is super important that he gets that kill there, because without that, this is a great exchange here. Still is going to be pretty nice, of course, for Morgan here on the top side. A lot of minions are going to be deleted. Zeus does not have teleport. Just bought a call because he knows that is how this game is going to be now.
Guma and Keria can get very aggressive, but don't necessarily have to look for dives onto Jinx Rakan just yet. So Owner up here again.
Morgan's just being so respectful, though.
Level 6 is hit as the mist is down. Waiting for the Meganar, perhaps the lane is pushing away from Morgan as this is a very tricky maneuver. As just going to get that fear down. Of course, there is no flash here for the Gwen as Meganar waiting for it. The paranoia is going to be enough. Zave's taking up the shots and he will be able to survive.
That was so beautifully done. Owner will back onto himself so they can grab the kill using the Nocturne ultimate, the paranoia. That was such a beautifully orchestrated dive. Waits for the wave to come back as well so that Morgan's in range. They know he doesn't have Ghost. That was very well played. So suddenly, top side here definitely swinging back into control for Zeus in this early part of the matchup. And picking up that kill is pretty massive in terms of what it's going to do to CS. It's going to be a low CS lane with all these deaths. 3 in the early game. But yeah, like you said, the reason why we see no focus on the bottom side is because it is a Jinx Aphelios where we saw no focus in the past. But with this, awkward lane swap here, see if this is the trade-off, though, because Jinx is also going to be happy with this.
Saves, he's almost at Meganar. The knock-up is not there, but it doesn't matter because Umpty is here. So with Morgan alone, 1v2, he's fine. He almost has his needles. He has Ghost. There's no gank. Owner's doing Rift Herald. So actually, FREDIT BRION are going to get a lot out of this because it's a free turret and a bunch of plates for solo Jinx, who is getting solo XP and solo gold on all of these plates.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Lava is going to have to Valkyrie away. See if they can force this into value regardless. Like, it is going to be split gold as well, some of it. Caria walks away to see if he can give him that extra full plate, but Henna is going to be the real winner of this. It felt very experimental, what T1 were trying to do here. Like, oh, does this work if we swap the Aphelios early? Usually you have to have control of one of these lanes massively in order to pull it off. They do have enough control to send him up there, up the top side with that kill, and they have Rift Herald. So it will actually be all of these plates going over to Guma. Is going to pick up first turret blood as well. So it does end up being worth it in the long run here, but still not a massive upswing from T1 because of the plates that Henna picked up bottom side.
Yeah, let's see if T1 doesn't look like they're going to be able to push into the second turret, but yeah, Rift Herald's going over there. FREDIT BRION on the other side of the map earlier on with the gank from Owner in the top side. They were able to pick up a very early.
It's a massive win for T1. It's still a pretty significant win for T1, I would say, at the end of the day here, as FAKER's rotating up. Ping's coming to the mid lane. Lava says he's not here.
Yeah, it's the Bully Morgan game, I suppose, as Ghost was popped, but the slow comes in, and Morgan cannot get away from this. Nice try. He doesn't even bother using his own needles. Just accepts that a nice roam from FAKER is going to get the job done.
You know what? Strongest player to actually get value for your bottom laner.
As we have an engage down to the bottom side, Guma just going to get blown up here with the Ignite going down from Delight. Owner trying to follow up, but here's Umpty as well. Bit of a knock up onto Caria. Might be a couple of kills. He's getting extremely low, but the shield does come in last second. And with Owner nearby, of course, no chance of diving a turret. And now we have a Jinx with Kraken Slayer, a finished call, basically, and 2 kills and extra plates.
Yeah.
So all of this.
So they were
T1 are getting big map plays, but this is a bigger Jinx.
Yeah, exactly. So everything that they don't know where Lava is, he has package. This should be FREDIT BRION with a 2 Drake lead, and I didn't think what this second game was going to be about was T1 just trying to really hard force a different way to get their bottom laner ahead, and then it all just gets thrown in the wastebasket when the bottom 2v2 steps forward. But that is kind
Nautilus and other, just tank engage supports are going to fall off as things change up.
Look at the respect that Henna shows that Guma and Caria did not, essentially here. Obviously, this is a little bit more extreme, but Henna's willing to lose money and lose experience. He knows this is the setup. Now, Delight.
Come on. He took every precaution, and they just waited for about a million League of Legends seconds. And, yeah, actually it does pay off for T1 in the end.
Yeah, well, Delight also pathing that way means that he's going to do something.
Okay, Needles landing, flash, chilling smite. We got fights in mid as well. Here comes Delight looking for the play. That is going to be a dead FAKER. As Zeus will get away, just barely. And now Guma is actually able to pick up a lot of gold here in the trade at least, but FREDIT BRION getting the second Rift Herald is also big.
Yeah, this is the moment where I want to see the gold lead graph, actually. Like, it's so extremely important right now because I want to see where the money is on T1 because they have 1,000 gold to lead. I think most of it's actually on Guma. Despite the 2 kills for Henna, he picks up 1, gets all of those plates topside, that extra turret, now has all the bottom side plates. And for FREDIT BRION, it's the core.
A lot better against this. There's not too much tankiness outside of the Poppy as well, and I suppose the Gwen with all those resistances. So
they left Owner here by himself, though, and this is a kind of split fight. I thought maybe we'd see FREDIT BRION commit. Still, though, just looking for the wave and the second Herald drop mid to grab that turret instead. I think this is the better call. They have a nice setup here to prevent T1 from turning and trapping them, so they will guarantee the charge.
Yeah, charge comes in. Let's see if they do commit to this as a bunch of poke damage does come in. The Poppy ultimate not amounting to too much from the side of FAKER. That is better Poppy, as I like to call it. Sometimes worse Poppy, depending on how
the different fight in the last one. T1, ooh, that hook goes wide. T1 here, definitely not the same cushy setup that they had last time around. This time, FREDIT BRION have all the tools. Stopwatch purchased for Lava. Package. Doesn't even need to teleport here. This is the fight FREDIT BRION absolutely want to take. They're saying, we're ready to fight. We've scaled up enough. We want to take that soul point.
We got Corki up against worst Corki, I would say, in this case. FAKER's missiles not necessarily doing as much as Lava's at this point in time. Lava's build still waiting for that as the engage comes in. They're going onto a Nautilus with stopwatch. That's not the play. The paranoia is forced, but now you're popping a little bit less tanky. You have a little bit less positioning as the package comes through. They engage onto this very hard as into the backline here goes this frontline for Owner, but look at Guma. He has so much of a frontline and he can do whatever they want because FREDIT BRION went so deep with that package and forced this with the Corky Jinx. And now Umpty's going to try to give himself up, but this is just a clean ace for T1.
Feels like we might be going to a game 3 here, Valdez. This is the fight that really breaks the back in a lot of ways of FREDIT BRION. Stopwatch down here, package useless. T1 have gotten Drake parity. This should be a Baron they take after this as well, so full map control. No longer safe to side lane will be the Corky. He's not going to be able to side lane. He's not going to be able to free farm. And the fight, despite the really big tunnel onto Keria here, looked almost still winnable for FREDIT BRION, but like you said, Guma could just run at them. He was in melee range of their comp, knowing that he has that Bloodthirster, he's got that extra shield, or the extra healing, and a shield. And yeah, nice try. But the fact of the matter is, he's just unkillable while everyone else is that low on health. He would actually just wipe them, so they kind of have to slowly kite away. And the fact is, Umpty flashed for the play, doesn't have a defensive flash anymore, and loses, like you said, 2/3 of his health bar. There is no tank anymore.
At the same time, it's like, I don't know. It wasn't even like T1 forced it to happen. They just waited for FREDIT BRION to mess up. I don't know.
I mean, it was a good play from Keria. They reacted well to the package. The paranoia usage was also great to buy time there. Package was awkward, and I do agree that it was not like the sickest plays we've ever seen, and it was a mistake from FREDIT BRION, but I think T1 handled it well. Now they have a really nice control over the map that I just don't think they will relinquish. I don't think FREDIT BRION can take back this game.
I'm just, you know, on the side of T1, I just, if they are one of the best teams that we have here in the LCK, I want them to be like proactively making things happen, like making the plays, outplaying the lower teams, but it takes like halfway through game 2 and them just kind of waiting around for them to finally take a fight.
We did,
yeah, not the best look, but going to be a very big lead for them.
We did finally get to see the difference between Guma and Henna and Money, and yes, it was after a very dominant one-team fight there. 2,300 gold is his lead over Henna. The same to be true of Zeus, actually, over Morgan. So the side laning Gwen, who built Azonia's, you know, not feeling too powerful, not feeling too threatening. And with no turrets for this Corky to hide behind, you don't just default get to be better in scaling. Like, he hits his 3-item spike here after breaking his stopwatch, now has the GA. But it's not the Ludens. Like, he doesn't actually have that extra burst damage. And so, like, Lava has to sit back to farm as he's doing now, which means T1 should be able to basically get every objective after this. The 4 Ocean Soul Dream, we were like, oh, something has to go wrong for that to happen. Well, something went wrong in a big way. And T1 get a Baron. And now, you know, like I said, it feels like we're going to game 3 here because the Aphelios is basically unkillable.
All of these engaged and proactive champions that you have on the side of T1 get so much value. As speaking of engaged, they get in the backline and Guma is gone. As down they go, it's actually FREDIT BRION the ones that make the play happen, as now GA's gone on the Nocturne. T1 are fighting a 4v5, a massive Gnar ultimate comes in here. As we got frontliners sacrificing themselves, and FAKER's gonna get 2, maybe make it 3 as he tries desperately to get it there at the end. Zeus not able to collapse onto Lava, who still has his GA. And somehow T1 come out ahead in that fight.
They do come out ahead, but they just did not expect FREDIT BRION to fight without an objective. And that is exactly what FREDIT BRION were looking to do. Good play from Delight to set this one up, but it's not enough in the end. Package now used defensively.
Uh-oh, it's a big one hitting them as no engage onto Umpty. This can be kited out excellently by Lava. He has to be careful though, as
Drake is up.
He's taking it one step at a time. Teleport available for Zeus if you wanted to back and come back into this fight.
And up for Morgan, he's up in 5. Yeah. And unfortunately, FAKER, when he does respawn, will not have it. So FREDIT BRION should be able to take Soul Point here.
T1 spent a lot of time taking out that inhibitor turret, and now they're not going to be in position for this Drake. They are trying to get in position here as the Gnar is going to teleport in. We got 5 people on the side of FREDIT BRION that could try to take a 5v4, but they say no.
feels really unfortunate. The package here is just wasted because now T1 get this soul point. Their package will not be available for their soul fight. So that is really massive. It's a huge swing here. FREDIT BRION were just not able to, without Flash here on Lava, without a better now. Also guarantee, it's like, it's not even fair because it's also a Gnar pick at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
You get both.
T1 here, no package for FREDIT BRION. Lava has his GA still, didn't lose it there, flashed instead. But, I mean, this is late. Not, yeah, you cannot force this fight. You don't have the engage.
Steadfast presence for will get him out of the way. This is Mega Gnar. Zeus, no flash, but still absolutely threatening a nightmare situation for FREDIT BRION.
Burst damage on a Corki is great and all, but what Corki is really good at, more than anything else, the same reason why Ezreal is really good in these late game scenarios, is that in neutral fights, when both teams are posturing, a Corki puts a timer on T1. It's like, oh, okay, you guys want to take this Drake? Well, I want to take it too. We're both kind of walking at each other. I outrange you, I outpoke you, and eventually you will have to just run at us and hard engage because you're running out of health bars, because Corki will just consistently do that. But when you are behind on the play and T1 is on a Baron and they have strong, you don't, like, Corki feels worthless in these moments. Like, yeah, if you get an amazing rocket randomly, maybe you could force a fight even if you lose Baron, but with no vision control, no setup, no way to really aim these rockets, Lava, like I said, now a 4-item Corki doesn't feel like a strong pick when you're behind like this, though. You just cannot use it the same way as it is in an even game state or from ahead.
Let's see how the defense goes. Going to be a little bit more difficult here against this Baron buff. A lot of pushing from many different angles. Zeus gets Mega Gnar again here for just a moment. And yeah, I think you got to keep your Jinx on one side and your Corki on the other, because that's where a lot of your wave clear will come in. As FREDIT BRION on the side, they want to fight instead. As in the back line, here comes Owner. They're trying to peel for Henno, but they just cannot, as the fear seems to last forever. As Morgan is getting a lot of front-to-back damage done here. Lava's still alive, but it is a couple of guys taken down here on the side of FREDIT BRION. T1 up 10,000 gold and looking to end this game here. Can they do it against the Corki? That's one turret shots too. Oh man, Lava just barely going to survive there on the backside of that one.
Yeah, he's got his GA, but he doesn't want to lose control.
Morgan, very, very low, has to go to the stopwatch. He is going to survive just barely, but Delight has to give his life up for it, and I think it's just enough damage. We are going to have a game number 3, as T1 just barely going to pick up this victory against FREDIT BRION. Not as dominant as I think T1 would have liked, but